Recently, I went to see this amazing art exhibition in Lisbon, and this was the central art piece. Now, I don't want to get into the discussion, is trash just trash? But this got me thinking. All this garbage collected from the Portuguese shores is only a small part of what is currently floating around in the seas and oceans all over the world. Add this to poverty, pollution, infertility, and the myriad of problems invading Earth, and you get a recipe for disaster. Now I know what you're thinking. Isn't this young lady lots of fun? Since we humans are quite lazy and have gotten bored of trying to fix already existing problems, we have opted for a new approach, a new frontier I could call it, a pristine place that we still haven't screwed up, Mars. For generations, Mars has been an inspiration for science fiction. From the first novels in the 1600s to the 2015 film, The Martian, the red planet has conquered the hearts of the many. Star Wars, Star Trek, Guardians of the Galaxies, we are fascinated by outer space. When my parents were young, and even decades later, when I was still a small child, we considered the closest planet to us, Mars, unreachable. The amount of science fiction that has been written about this planet is astronomical. For that same reason, we even gave a proper name to a species of aliens that come from Mars, Martians. Even though they don't really exist, we have a pretty clear idea, or maybe a couple ideas, of what they could look like. For example, this, or maybe even this, or maybe even this. Now, imagine a world where all this would cease to be fiction, where the possibility of you going to Mars would become reality. Now stop dreaming, because it's reality, or at least we're that much closer to making it. The Mars One is a mission to establish a permanent human settlement on Mars. By 2031, the first 4 members of the 24-people crew will be launched into space. The 24 people who will be going are people who volunteered and are now being carefully selected. There will be 4 eliminations rounds to arrive to the final crew. Unless you're the age of my parents or some of my teachers, you should definitely volunteer. It will look great on your college applications, minus the fact that you wouldn't be actually going to college because, it's a mission without return. Personally, I don't have this strong urge to dedicate my whole life to go to another planet. I've always been fascinated by outer space, but I prefer studying it from afar. I could imagine leaving my friends, my family, my whole world to go live on Mars. Having said this, though, I understand why other people are so fascinated by this idea that they would give up everything and anything to have this opportunity. They get to be the ones who did it, the ones who took that giant step for humanity. They get to be the ones who went to Mars. Why did Marco Polo head east? Why did Columbus travel west? It's that pull of the unknown, the prospect of new adventures, that compels humans to seek new frontiers. Yes, Mars One will give us a better understanding of the origins of life, the origins of the solar system, and our place in the universe. And yes, Mars will be a stepping stone for humanity in its voyage into the universe. But since this project is more costly than the American healthcare system, it begs the question, is it justifiable? There are so many problems on Earth, so much poverty, so much pollution, but we aren't trying to find a solution. We are instead ignoring all the signs. The art is piling up, the wildlife is dying, the ice caps are melting, the coastal areas are flooding, but we aren't trying to fix it. And if we don't change the way we treat our planet, it's going to end in an awful way. For this reason, forward-thinking people have tried to find an alternate place to sustain human life. Not to mention, but this project will also put human lives at risk. Though strictly voluntary, the chance of injury or death is really high. But at the same time, 16,000 people died to injuries correlated to falling in the shower. So if you're young, adventurous, and fascinated by outer space, you should definitely try to become one of those 24 people. So maybe, in a couple years, Martians will stop looking like this. Well, thank you.